This is February 2022, so let's have a look at the recap from last month. So we're going to look at what's new in meetings, webinars, devices, and also calling and phone. We're also going to touch on and look at the roadmap. So this deck can be downloaded. I think you probably know already, aka.ms/what's new calling, and for the meetings deck, it's what's new meetings as well. This deck is relevance to hybrid meetings and modernized communications, so Teams, calling, meetings, and devices. It's not the full roadmap, and dates and items in here are subject to change. But if we have a look at February, so for meetings and webinars, there's some updates for updated companion mode for iOS, pin or hide your own video in Teams meetings. So I've had a few requests and people asking, can I hide myself in the meeting? Yes, you can now. There's updates to forms in meetings, so you can now use word cloud polls. You can mute notifications during meetings. You can do that in the meeting, or you can also do that in settings on the client for all meetings. For calling, there wasn't many updates for calling this month, but one just dropped in yesterday, quite unannounced. So the first one's walkie-talkie for Teams phone devices. So if you've got a touch screen phone, or desk phone, you can actually use walkie-talkie on that now. So there was a software update for the Teams phone devices. So that enables this feature and a few other things which we'll have a look at. So you can now use calling plans in South Africa. The Teams devices, the biggest update is on Teams Rooms on Android. So there's a February 2022 update, which brings quite a lot of improvements for meetings, including wallpaper. You can have video gallery across dual screens if you're not sharing content. There's HDMI ingest and sharing in and out of a meeting, which is quite a heavily requested feature. And there's a lot more as well. We'll have a look at some of those in a minute. Teams Rooms on Windows, that got far end camera control. So if you have a Teams Room on Windows system with a pan, tilt, zoom camera, you can add an app into the meeting, the PTZ app, and you can actually control the far end camera inside of the meeting. On certified devices, there's two updates from Yealink, and there's the Teams phone update as well for February. So if we have a look at the calling updates, the first one is walkie-talkie. So this is similar to what we've got on mobile devices with Teams. You can now do the walkie-talkie on Teams phone devices, which is kind of a push-to-talk communication. So if you got to be all within the same channel, but if you have a touchscreen device, you can actually press the screen and use walkie-talkie on a phone device. So in some cases where customers have got either a device and they want to use walkie-talkie, they can now do it from a Teams phone. So you do need to have the new software update to enable that feature. And this is the February 7th update for the devices. But there's a few other things that come here. But the touchscreen, there's touchscreen improvements for portrait mode improvements for conference phones. There's some performance improvements and bug fixes as well. So you can deploy that from Teams Admin Center. That was released early in February. You can click the link to get the release notes if you've got any Teams phone devices that you want to get updated, and use walkie-talkie. For meetings and webinars, there's an updated companion mode for iOS, pin or hide your own video, and the updates to forms in meetings. Let's have a look. So companion mode's getting a lot of updates, and we'll be using this heavily, particularly in room situations where we can leverage people with their Teams mobile device and leverage the companion mode. So it says here now with a single tap, you can join a meeting on both iOS and Teams Rooms. Audio on the device is automatically turned off to ensure echo doesn't happen. In addition to joining a meeting, it's easy to access meeting and device controls, ability to cast PowerPoint, turn cameras on and off, and more as well. So that's rolling out, but I think we'll see more and more features coming into the Teams mobile and leveraging that companion mode in rooms. That's rolling out at the moment on the roadmap. So pin or hide your own video in Teams meetings. So now where we used to always see your video preview, sometimes in the top right, bottom right, you now got the option to pin or hide that. So if that is causing any distractions of seeing yourself, you can actually go and hide that now, or keep it there. Sometimes I like to see it, sometimes I don't, but some people it caused a distraction, so we've got the option to have that there or not now, so that's great to have. This is the open text questions or word cloud polls for Teams meetings. So new options for forms in meetings. You can now use this type of poll to collect attendees' open-ended responses before, during, or after a meeting, and the results are automatically aggregated and displayed as a word cloud. So that's another nice little addition to have. And the last one we've got is mute notifications during meetings. So in a meeting, we can go hit the three dots, go down and mute notifications. So if you've got a lot of chats going on in the meetings, you can mute those. Alternatively, you can also go in and turn them off, turn notifications during all meetings. You can do that in settings, notifications, and toggle mute notifications during meetings button. That's rolling out, but gives you a little bit of flexibility to control those notifications, particularly in meetings. Sometimes I can get distracted with lots of notifications going on in different meetings. That's it for meetings and webinars and calling. So in Teams devices, there's updates to Teams panels. With the check-in and room release, there's the knock-knock notifications, there's Teams Rooms on Android updates, there's a software update that brings a lot more, Teams Rooms on Windows, and the certified devices from the A-Link updates. Let's go and have a look. So Teams panel, so check-in and room release. This is really aimed at, I guess, maximizing the use of space, but ensuring that space that's not used is available for everybody. So IT admins can now configure Teams panels to release reserved conference rooms that are not being used. So outside the room on the panel, you can press check-in to go and make sure and notify and say that, you know, we are using this room. If nobody checks in, that room can be released for other people to use. Now, with the new software update for Teams Rooms on Android, you can actually automatically check in when joining a meeting. So if you join a meeting from the room, it will be considered as checking in and the room will not be released. So support for that automatic checking in for Teams Rooms on Windows is coming later, but you do need, if you want to leverage that for Teams Rooms on Android, you need the latest software update. And the next one is knock knock feature. So kind of goes with the check-in feature, but you can actually send a notification to the front of room display. So you can send a notification to the room informing people in the room that the reservation has ended and others are waiting for that space as well. So you can see in the screenshot at the top there, your room reservation has expired, others are waiting for the room. So if you've ever been in that situation, probably not for some time, when you're sitting in a meeting room and there's people queuing up outside, kind of hurrying you up to get out the room, now you can politely knock knock and send them a notification. This is the update for Teams Rooms on Android for February. So not just those features we've spoken about, but it brings a lot more. So split gallery and dual screen, spotlight multiple attendees at once, docked meeting controls, new reactions, HDMI, presenters and organizers able to control camera and mic across all attendees, new wallpapers, webinar presenters can join and participate. Warning message if the room is over capacity, and the check-in and knock knock feature as well. So there's a lot of updates for Teams Rooms on Android, which is great to see. To have a look at one of those, so if you want to look at the split gallery view in a dual screen meeting, now particularly if you've got Teams Rooms on Android with two displays, you can actually have the gallery split across both of them, make use of both of those displays when not sharing content. It's great to see that here. Another one of those wallpapers. So now you can have and customize wallpapers on the home screen with Teams Rooms on Android. IT admins can set them from device settings within Teams Admin Center, coming soon on that one. But now we've got some wallpapers that apply to the front of room display in single and dual config. This is a pretty big one. So Teams rooms on Android, HDMS, ingest and sharing. So this is during and outside of a meeting. So you can now plug in an external device via HDMI into the Teams rooms on Android. Content will start sharing automatically. So this has been quite a big one that we've been waiting for. If you'd like to stop sharing, just press the share icon on the core controls on the home screen. Excuse me. This is the Teams rooms on Android far end camera control. So in the screenshot there, you can see the PTZ camera controls have been added into here, and you can actually remotely control the far end camera if it's got pan, tilt, zoom. So you do need to make sure you've got a camera that supports the PTZ camera controls. But now this allows the attendees to control that camera. And also IT administrators can determine which Teams rooms are enabled for far end camera control as well. So you can do zoom in on that as well as moving it. Devices from Yealink. There's a UVC34 all-in-one USB bar. So this integrates 4K AI-driven camera, built-in 8 microphone array, and 5W high-fidelity speaker. And this enhances the team experiences, provides high-quality video, probably everything we'd expect from Yealink. It also plugs into your laptop with no extra drivers or software needed. So it's another all-in-one USB video bar. And then there's, making use of that, there's the MVC340, and this is a solution bundle. So this is an efficient way to set up and manage a Teams room, Microsoft Teams room system. And this is packaged with the all-in-one USB bar, with a mini PC, the M-Touch 2 touch panel. Obviously, you can look at transforming that meeting space with the MVC340 as a Teams rooms system, covering small spaces, it says there. That's it. So if we go and have a look at the roadmap, so let's have a look at what's changed in the last month. So not as much launched as rolling out as last month, but still a lot of stuff in here. Some new items that have been added. A few highlights here are so first one, virtual visits is getting a few items here. So there's usage reports here in Teams Admin Center has been added to the roadmap. There's also under devices, virtual visit device tests as well. So you can test your device before going on into using virtual visits. They've been added to the roadmap. Teams device management graph APIs, they're now in preview. So you can have a look at managing devices, Teams devices with graph. The call control for Bluetooth headsets and speakerphones. So this is where we're looking at certain certified devices or Bluetooth devices that won't need a USB Bluetooth dongle anymore. So that's coming into preview in March, so this month. So I don't know which specific Bluetooth headsets and speakerphones they will be, but that's actually been added to the roadmap with a preview date of March. A Teams device store has been added to the Teams Admin Center as well. So within the Teams Admin Center now, you get access to the device store, so you can go and look at Teams devices. I don't know if you can go and purchase them through them, but I guess you can go and get those devices from there. For in development, a few highlights. There's still a lot of work going on in the VDI space. So for VMware, Azure Virtual Desktop, Windows 365, so there's multi-window support that's been added there, give take control, background blur, so a lot of work going on in there. Under devices, there's the Teams devices dashboard for device analytics, providing health and usage metrics. Workspace management as well, that's another thing in Teams Admin Center for devices. And within launched and rolling out, so we have got share specific parts of an app to the meeting stage. That's been launched, but I haven't seen much info on that. I need to have a look more into that. Queue view for virtual visits, press to unmute. think we covered that last month. And there's a few items there for meetings rolling out: music mode, mute notifications, hide your own video, mirror my video, which we've looked at. And devices, we've got a number of launched items there for Teams rooms on Windows from the January software update that brought front row and other items, and then some items we spoke about with Teams rooms on Android, which is HDMI wide ingest and some of the other features that have come on board. If we go and have a look at calling, not a lot of movement on calling, so there was nothing added for January. There was no changes in development, but launched and roll out, there is some items here. So dynamic emergency calling for work from home for Teams VDI on Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365 and Citrix has been launched. Music on hold for consult and transfer, and rolling out is dynamic emergency calling for work from home for VDI and VMware. So not as much going on this month, or well, last month in calling. We'll just have a look at some highlights in January. The biggest highlight really here was Teams rooms on Windows with the software update. So I think we released 4.12, but there has been I think a bug fix release. So it's maybe 4.13 or 4.12.1 for Teams rooms on Windows. But the front row video layout became available for customers on Teams rooms on Windows. That's in preview. But I've seen people, using that, very excited about that new immersive way of having meetings and hybrid meetings and bringing everybody at the front of the table. And it brought a lot more enhancements in there as well. Switch between multiple videos, Cortana updates, calling out, Meet Now, AAD conditional access support for Teams rooms on Windows. So I know Michael Tresler and Tony Woodruff have been working on some of the documentation for Teams rooms as well, and I know there was a conditional access article that got published as well. So if you haven't seen that, definitely go and have a look at that. Devices, there was updates from Lenovo, the Meta portal. We're bringing the Teams display interface really into the Facebook portal, and the Poly eStudio E70 got certified as well. There was updates for the Teams device administrator role, where we can look at delegating device administration to specific groups, leveraging Azure. I can't remember. It leverages Azure AD. I can't remember, admin units, I think. And we also brought in the device trade-in for Microsoft Teams devices as well. So any customers with existing legacy devices from other manufacturers can look at trading those in with a partner called Network Value, who're working with Microsoft. There we go. So that's kind of a recap of last month. Thank you very much for joining.